Hi, I'm Laura Mize, pediatric speech-language pathologist, and welcome to TeachMeToTalk.com's Therapy Tip of the Week. Have you ever noticed how many toddlers love toys with keys? Today I'm going to show you my very favorite toys with keys and talk about how to incorporate lots of language goals and even the goals that come before we target language with toddlers who happen to be experiencing language delays. The first kind of toy I use is this really simple key toy by Ambi. There's just one option, one key and one hole for the toddler to be able to do. This toy also incorporates some simple problem solving by having the child match the shape that goes on top. So you put the shapes in, and then again the door is locked, so he has to use the key to open the door to get the shapes out. So a really early simple key toy that most toddlers will be able to do. Even if they have lots of motor challenges, this is still a really terrific choice for you to introduce lots of that fine motor practice and using a toy with a key. Okay, that's the first toy. Secondly, I want to show you this great toy that lots of my little friends love. This is a garage from the company Batat, and I believe that I got this one off Amazon too. And look, the keys can go in separate places. They can go here on top, or they can also be used to open the doors down here. Now let's talk about the other, beyond fine motor, what you're targeting, the other motor skills that you're targeting. You're also working on motor planning and sequencing when you use a toy like this, because you're having, you can see the difficulty I'm having. The child is having to target several different skills to be able to get the darn car out of the toy. So super toy to use, even if you're not a speech-language pathologist or a developmental interventionist. Language-wise, what can you do with a toy like this? Well, first of all, you're going to be working on receptive language, that the child learns which one's the car, where's the truck, other kind of concepts like early prepositions, let's put it in, other verbs, early verbs like go and stop. So tons of language targets with this kind of toy. When we start to think about expressive language with our little friends, you should also be thinking about all the levels or all the skills that come way before a child is able to imitate single words. And with car and truck toys, you can target these things beautifully. You can have a child imitate lots of actions, which would be a level 1 skill. That's putting the car in, closing the door, knocking on the door. You can have a child target even higher level, level 4 kinds of vocalizations, and these would be vocalizations that aren't quite words yet. You could have them target exclamatory words with level 5. That would be words like beep beep and vroom vroom, and even things like crash. You can get some great verbal routines going with this kind of toy. So again, lots of prerequisite skills that you can use to work a child up to being able to imitate single words. This is a super toy. The next toy I'm going to show you is one of my favorites as well. And this toy is based off the story, The Three Little Pigs. So if you have a child who likes to listen to stories and who likes to read, this would be a super play activity that you could use in conjunction with reading. If you work in a program that really discourages you from taking toys in, this might be a toy that you can get away with using, because you're going to show mom how to use the book and then make that this kind of play routine associate with her routine of reading with her child. Again, the word routine is so important here. Using verbal routines or building in routines so that a child can hear you say the same words over and over and over. Over time, his little brain begins to expect the next word, and that's called automatic speech. So with a toy like this, where you're using the same words from the book, you know, little pig, let me in, a child will eventually be able to fill in those words when you pause and give him an opportunity to do so. This kind of toy is super too for higher level sequencing and motor planning and simple problem solving. And again, why is that? Because look, the pigs aren't there. You've got to open several houses, all 3, before you're ever going to find the little pigs. And you can incorporate lots of other kinds of early imitation skills with this as well, with the child imitating knocking, again, opening the doors, pulling the next house out. while the whole time you're building your verbal routines with maybe even calling the pigs and saying, you know, Peggy, where are you? Lots and lots of your prerequisite language skills can be targeted with this kind of toy. And there you have the pigs. So again, another fun toy for you to use. Lots of options, lots of goals that you can target with that. Lastly, I want to show you my very favorite key toy of all times. This is the Animal Hospital. It's from the Parents line of toys at Target. I think they've changed the color scheme a couple of times since I bought this one. This is a toy that's probably 4 or 5 years old. I love it because I can use it and really make it fit what a child likes. So if a child likes characters from his little shows, I can put those characters in. If a child is really into farm animals, we can use those kinds of toys too. So again, the cognitive skills that you're targeting here are simple problem solving. You're also doing color matching with this toy because you have to get the right color key to open the door. And remember that a child, when he's learning colors, he has to learn how to match first and identify colors receptively first, way before he's able to name those colors expressively. So look how many different goals you've already started working on just from a cognitive perspective before we even get to the language. All right, with this kind of toy, I want to show you how you can use all the concepts in my new book, Building Verbal Imitation in Toddlers, that's available on May 1st, how you can really use those levels to walk a child through from the very beginning of expressive language development when he's just learning to imitate with actions, all the way through to level 8, which is 2-word phrases. So how would we accomplish that with this kind of toy? You've got to use the right stimuli or the right toys to be able to elicit what you want to hear. So first of all, for level 1 with actions with objects, you could have a child again imitate a knock, imitate opening, imitate putting these animals in, taking the animals out. If you are using these farm animals, you could have the child imitate with the animal walking or getting a drink. And so again, the possibilities are only limited by how creative you are. If you're not that creative and you need a cheat sheet, get the book because all those ideas are going to be listed in there. You can move on to level 2 with introducing signs and introducing gestures that a child would use to represent these various animals. You can move on to level 3 with this, which would be a child imitating facial expressions or more exaggerated mouth movements with this kind of thing. You can move on to level 4 where a child is imitating vocalizations like a dog's pant, or even these really early animal sounds like with a dog. Like with the, I think I've already done that one, like with a bird, with tweet, 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 tweet. You're working your sign in there and then you're doing your animal sound as well. You can move on to some verbal routines, which is a level 6 activity that we've already talked about, by just being sure that you are saying the same things every time that you use the toy so that a child again begins to predict what kinds of words that you'll say next and fill that in when you pause and give him time to complete your routine. Tons of single words in here, which is a level 7 activity. You're introducing all kinds of vocabulary. You can make this as simple as a child needs with really single syllable targets like pig or bird, but you can also use some multisyllabic words that so many of our little friends have trouble with: bunny, monkey, lion, and really think about those harder syllable structures to use as well. And certainly you can move on to level 8 and use that with phrases as well. Again, if you need to know a better blueprint for how to use that kind of approach with children who have language delays, check out Building Verbal Imitation in Toddlers because that'll really help you. That's all for this week. Thanks so much for joining me for TeachMeToTalk.com's Therapy Tip of the Week.